Step into the darkness where reality blurs and nightmares come alive. Ever since we moved into our quaint suburban home, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. It started innocently enough, with fleeting glimpses of our neighbors across the street peering out from behind their curtains as we went about our daily lives. At first, I brushed it off as mere curiosity, but as the days turned into weeks, I began to sense something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. The Smiths, our neighbors, seemed like an ordinary enough family, a middle-aged couple with a teenage daughter, but there was something about the way they watched us, their eyes following our every move with a predatory intensity, that sent a chill down my spine. It was as if they were waiting for something, biding their time until the moment was right to strike. At first, my wife, Emily, dismissed my concerns as nothing more than paranoia, but as the weeks passed and the sense of unease grew, even she couldn't deny that something was amiss. The first sign that things were not as they seemed came one night when I caught a glimpse of movement outside our bedroom window. Peering out into the darkness, I saw Mr. Smith standing on the sidewalk, his eyes fixed on our house with an unnerving intensity. I tried to brush it off as a coincidence, but when I mentioned it to Emily, she grew pale with fear. She had seen Mrs. Smith lurking in the bushes earlier that day, her gaze locked on our front door with an intensity that sent shivers down Emily's spine. From that moment on, we couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of being observed by unseen eyes from across the street. Everywhere we went, we felt their presence, like a shadow hanging over us, waiting for the right moment to strike. But it wasn't just the constant surveillance that unnerved us, it was the strange occurrences that began to happen around our house. Objects would go missing, only to reappear in strange places days later. Our dog would bark incessantly at nothing, his hackles raised as if sensing something lurking in the darkness. And then there were the cameras, hidden in the bushes, mounted on the lampposts, even disguised as innocent bird feeders. Everywhere we looked, we saw the telltale signs of surveillance, a silent reminder that we were never truly alone. As the weeks turned into months, our paranoia grew, fueled by the constant surveillance and the unsettling feeling that we were being watched even when we couldn't see our neighbors. We became obsessed, spending hours poring over security footage, looking for any sign of what the Smiths might be planning. But the more we searched, the less we understood. There were no patterns, no clues to suggest what their endgame might be. It was as if they were playing some twisted game, toying with us for their own amusement. Then, one fateful night, everything changed. We were awoken by the sound of breaking glass, followed by the piercing wail of our security alarm. Rushing downstairs, we found our front door hanging off its hinges, the shattered remnants of our security system lying in pieces on the floor. But it wasn't the break-in that sent us spiraling into panic, it was what we found waiting for us on our doorstep. A single envelope, sealed with red wax and stamped with the symbol of an eye. Inside was a single piece of paper, on which was scrawled a chilling message. "We've been watching you." It was then that we knew, we had to get out, to leave this house and never look back. But as we packed our belongings and prepared to flee, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was already too late, that the Smiths had already won. As we drove away from our home for the last time, I glanced back at the house across the street, a sense of dread gnawing in the pit of my stomach. And as I watched, I saw the curtains twitch, and for a brief moment, I caught a glimpse of Mrs. Smith's face, her eyes gleaming with a malevolent light. In that moment, I knew that we had escaped the watchful eyes of our neighbors, but the terror they had unleashed would haunt us for the rest of our days, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond our doorstep.